wanted to try soft pastels and thought, oh my gosh, there's too much, too overwhelmed. Well, I'm here to help you out today, because today is the first part of a 3-part series of mine all about soft pastels. So in today's episode, in the very first part, we're going to talk about some safety things around soft pastels, and we're going to have a look at the different types of pastels and some of the different brands you can get and which I think might be right for you. So let's get a crack-a-lackin'. I love soft pastels. I don't always use the best safety precautions. Some of the pigments, when they're dry, which is what soft pastels are, can be harmful if breathed in. I'm usually very careful not to blow the dust, and usually when I work big, I work with it up so that the dust falls and I don't really need to do anything. So I will often, like I said, don't blow the dust. I will sometimes use a little brush, a soft brush, to brush them off. Some people do wear respirators. I'm terrible, I don't. Some people also wear gloves. There are certain pigments, and I will show you some of them as we go along, that are identified as quite harmful. I usually try to avoid them. There's one that I've recently purchased that I didn't realize was one of them. So I will use it because I'm a stickler for not wasting anything. But I will show you that when we get up to it. So just be wary about not breathing in the dust. Is essentially the best way to keep yourself safe. If you're worried about it, you can wear a respirator, dust mask, whatever you like. I also use wet wipes to clean up because that collects the dust. So sometimes I'll put the wet wipe down and then like tap my book on it so it falls onto the wet wipe, and I can get rid of the wet wipe with the harmful dust. That's another way to do it. Let's have a little chat. Let's go. Let's go with that. So this is not a comprehensive guide. This is just what I know about soft pastels. Soft pastels was one of the very first things that I got into when I started art lessons when I was 10 years old. My teacher at the time was a soft pastel artist, and she recommended I try them out. She had a heap, and I actually won some competitions with that, with my artworks back then, not since. There are 3 kind of main types of pastels that you can get. As I go through the 3 different types of soft pastels, I'm going to go through all the different brands that I've got, try them out, let you know exactly what I think of them, make some recommendations and stuff. And as I do that, I'm going to test them out in this sketchbook. This is a sketchbook I made about a year ago. It's made of craft paper. So I screen printed this Art Spectrum Colorfix original clear on each of the pages, and I used almost all of this doing that. And I screen printed it because I wanted it super smooth, and when you brush it on, it tends to leave the lines of the brushes, and I just don't like being able to see that when you're doing your drawing. I don't mind seeing the marks of the pastel, but not of the primer underneath. I find that's because it's not a painting with a brush and acrylic paint, so I shouldn't be able to see those brush marks. But that's just my own personal opinion with that too. So best way to get it nice and smooth is to use screen printing. So I'm going to be doing all my swatches and stuff in this sketchbook, and then we'll have a chat. So I'm going to put you down for the rest of this. The other thing I did with this sketchbook is I put a piece of paper in between each page so that I wouldn't have to worry about using fixative or anything, and I could just turn the page, keep going. The first type of pastel we're going to have a look at today is going to be the pastel pencil. I'm going to start with generally what I consider to be the most inexpensive. It's the pastel pencil I originally started with. Now, I don't use pastel pencils all that often. I originally got into pastel pencils because I like doing like illustrations with it, because you can be quite precise with them, and they go down really nicely on primed papers. So this one's probably the cheapest one. Now, I'm not going to swatch every single pastel because we will be here for about 6 1,000 years. So I've just got 5 of them here. So this is the Derwent pastel pencil. They come in sets. I don't actually think you can get them open stock. That just means you can get one at a time. I think you can only get these in a set. Don't quote me on that though. So I got a set of these many moons ago. It was the very first ever pastel pencil I got. So I've just got a few. This is Burnt Carmine 65B. I'm just gonna, yeah, like I said, swatch a couple of different ones and have a play around. This one is Emerald Green. So I do find the Derwent pastel pencils are probably a little bit harder than some of the other ones that we're going to try out today. This was Dark Violet. I've picked rather dark colours here. My bad. What's this? Burnt Umber. But even though they're a little bit harder, especially when you've got a prepared surface like this and not just a piece of paper, they go down so nicely. They do go down nicely. Now, I will preface that with, that's Orange Earth, that one. I will preface that with the fact that I'm not going to replace these. As I use these up, I will not be replacing these with Derwent. I'll be replacing these with a higher quality pastel pencil. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm gonna have to, because I've got so many pastel pencils. Like that's just a tiny fraction of my selection. If you're after the fine details, your pastel pencils are the way to go. I am not about the fine details. I'm about the big gestural marks. So that's why I really like the blocks. But I still do use these. Alright, so the next one I'm going to show you now is probably still on the cheaper side. So this is the Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel Pencils. I'm not sure how much I paid for this. Again, I've had these for quite a while. I just got a pack of 24. Again, I'm not sure if you can get these open stock, but you can see I've barely used them. All my pastel pencils, when I need to sharpen them, I use a blade to sharpen the ends, mainly because I am a tight ass and I don't want to waste the pigment on that. These are really super bright colors. I love them. They're really quite nice. Let's use a pink that I've not used before. Let's go this one. So these you can already feel, I can already feel these are a little bit softer than the Derwent. The actual pigment inside is not as fat. You get quite a bit more pigment in the barrel of the Derwent versus the Pitt Pastel. I'd say these are very similar to like a lead pencil or coloured pencil in terms of the amount of pigment you get. Let's do a darker colour and then we'll do a lighter colour. I don't really have many issues with colours. Let's do this yellow. Let's see what this yellow looks like on this. I quite like the colours of all of these. The only ones that I have a slight issue with colour is the Caran d'Ache, but I'll explain that when I get a bit closer to it, because I kind of got other ones to help supplement that. So these ones are our Faber-Castell. I'm going to get lazy. I'm going to go FC Pitt Pastel. I think they go up to like 72 colours. I'm not 100% certain. I don't think Faber-Castell have a massive range of colours yet, but that could change. So then the next ones I'm going to do, I bought open stock. So I always recommend when you're trying a new brand, get some open stock. So open stock means loose. So that's what I did with these next two brands. Let's start with this one because I think this is the cheaper of them. This is the Carbothello. Now, when I say cheaper, I don't mean they're any less quality. These are just, I would say these ones are more of a mid-range in terms of price. But again, it's quite a thin pencil, similar to the Pitt, so you don't get quite as much pigment, but you would hope, because it's a higher price point, that you get a better quality of pigment. Now you can see here I picked two purples. Now I'm going to get into this now. The Caran d'Ache have minimal purples in their set. So I got the whole 72 colour set. So I was a bit like, well, why? Why do they not even have a couple of purples? So I got these two purples because I need purples to help supplement it. So, and as you can see, I've barely used these. So I don't even know, I can't even tell you what these were like. I don't know if I like them or not. So I'm going to swatch these 4. These are the only 4 colours I've got. For some reason with this one and the other one I'm going to show you in a second, I got browns. I don't know, if you know me and you know I'm not really into browns. So let's start with the purples. These ones just have numbers. So this is a 365. No colour names. I didn't even tell you what the colours I use with Pit Pastel. Oh, they're actually quite nice. They feel really thin though. I feel like I'm going to break it. You all know, if you're not new here, you know I'm heavy-handed. They feel very similar to the Pit Pastels. I'm not going to lie. They are very nice. You'll find that I like all of these because I am a sucker for a soft pastel. Yeah, they're nice. They're really nice. Sometimes I can't tell a great deal of difference between different soft pastel pencils, and so I sometimes recommend to people just going open stock and just picking the colours that you need. If you know that you need to do a very purple rich artwork, don't pick Caran d'Ache because they've got very little. They've got next to no purples. So there's no point picking Caran d'Ache. You're better off going with some Carabathello. Derwent's got some. So sometimes it's like not about the quality, it's about the colour range available. Because a lot of them, like I said, the Pit Pastel pencils, I don't think have a massive range. I should have probably researched that, I suppose. So what are these? These are by Stabilo. Yeah, so they're quite nice too. Yeah, a nice one to do. The next ones are these. Now, I'm going to butcher the name. I know I am. Here we go. Put them up. Somebody who's from the country where these are made, which I'm guessing might be Holland. So this might be a Dutch word. I'm going to say it's like Brunziel. Brunziel. That's how I would say. I probably completely butchered it. Now, again, like I said, I've got 3 browns. Why did I get 3 browns? How silly. But again, these are not real thick, but oh, they're soft. They're nice. I'd have to say these are the softest ones I've tried so far. Ooh. And you can almost tell by the amount of dust that comes off it. Because like I said, I'm quite heavy-handed. Oh, geez, that's nice to use. This number 41, I'm guessing it's like a red ochre. Like, it's a really pretty colour, actually. It's not even really browny. It's probably more of a red than a brown. And this is like a blue grey. It's number 78. Oh, I don't know. These have been the nicest to use so far. Now, when I say nicest, I like soft. I like buttery. You might hear me say, oh, so buttery. These are nice and soft and buttery. And yes, please. So that's interesting. For the win, I like them. I might have to get some more. I don't know what their colour range is like either. I don't think they've got heat. I've only got a few more. I've only got 2 more types that I've got. Only. So the next type I've got is... Now, the last 2 types are top end. So these are good quality, but also quite expensive. So these are Conti Paris. Sorry, I know I'm probably saying it. I just call them Conti. These are Conti soft pastels, and I really do love these so much. I've gotten these open stock, and I would say about 50% of these are Conti, and these have to be one of my favorites that I use. They're generous. The pigment inside is generous. It's quite thick. The pencil's a little bit thicker than the others. And they're just nice and soft. Although, feeling them now, I actually think the Brunziel is more buttery and softer than the Conti. I think I've got a new favourite pastel pencil. Well, I don't know. I've been buying these open stock for ages, and they're like $7 Australian each. So they are pricey. They are very pricey. But check out those rich colours. They're just really nice, and they've got a really nice range. Again, like all of them, they don't have a massive range, but they're a good range. Like that green is just so good. It's a light green. I've not seen any colour like that in any of the other sets. Maybe they've got a better colour range than I'm giving them credit for, but that colour palette there is actually quite nice. Look at that colour palette there. So They are very much on the more pricier end, but they are very nice. The Bronzeal are very nice too. So at the moment, those two are kind of like my favourites. The Bronzeal, it just feels softer and nicer. Now the other one, the last one I've got is this. Now Caran d'Ache, like with most of their products, is super nice. And as a result, they're super expensive. So I got the full 72 set, and it comes with some absolutely stunning colours. Absolutely stunning colours. But like I said, this is it for the purples. And this really isn't even a purple. They do have names. It says Violet Cobalt. So it's more of a blue than it is a purple. So I was a bit disappointed by their purple range. That's it. That's it. So it's a super light. But other than that, I really do like their colour range. Now, they only have 72. So this is their entire range of colours. Some are missing. I've obviously taken them out and not put them back. So they've got a really nice range. And a really nice range of like lights as well. I'm guessing, now I rearranged these, but they kind of were like the blues, and they had these blues with like sandy colours. So like there's plenty of colours there for like a beach landscape if you do landscape and stuff. But like I said earlier, I would highly recommend getting these open stock if you want. They're a heftier pencil. So they're not, probably not quite as thick as the Conti, but they're up there. And they're a heavier pencil. That to me tells me a better quality of pencil. So this is, what colour is this? Flame Red. Oh, and they are just so nice to use. They are just absolutely beautiful to use. So I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to my pastel pencils. I like the good ones. I like the goods. Sorry, I'm not picking very vibrant colours here, am I? Let's go this. See, look at that light. Oof, that's nice, that's nice. So this one I've used quite a bit. And sharpening it, I only had trouble with one pencil, and I actually think it might have been that pencil. And it just kept breaking, which is really frustrating when you spend big money on pastel pencils and then it just keeps breaking over and over again. So they're by far my favorites. They're so nice to use. They're absolutely beautiful. But these Bronzeal are very quickly becoming a very high favorite of mine. So that's all of the brands of soft pastel pencils that I've got. All right, so next type, we're going to go with this. I don't use these very often. I've actually only just invested in some of my very first ever pan pastels. So basically it's exactly the same as pastels, but it's in this, it's like a makeup thing, and you get your little sponges and you apply it like that. I'm probably more heavy-handed than anything else, so that these don't really work that well for me. They are a first layer. So if you're going to put it with other pastels, you want to put these down first, because if I try to go over the top here where I've put quite a bit of pastel, all I'm going to get is just a muddy mess, muddy mess. I'm just going to flip my little sponge around so I can show you the black. I originally wanted to try the black with charcoal, and I think I'm going to really enjoy doing that. So that's pan pastel. I don't know much about pan pastel. I don't know much about applying it. I don't know much about it other than what I've already told you, is that it's a first layer, then you work on top of it with other pastels. Some people work purely in pan pastels. I could not tell you how to do that. I think it's all about light layers, and for me, I'm too heavy-handed for that to be the case. So, but I've got them to have a play around with. Now the next type of pastel is the pastel block. I have so many different types of pastel blocks. A little while ago, I grabbed one of these boxes to put all my pastels in. So this just kind of houses all of my machine-made pastels. I can't even tell you what brands are actually in here unless they're in pre-packaged. So I leave like my Art Spectrums out like this. My very first ever set of soft pastels was by Mungio. Mungio soft pastels, and they were square pastels. It was just a pack of, I think think even 12 pastels. I couldn't tell you exactly. I've since bought other smaller packs like that, and they live in here. I'll grab a couple of them out to have a play with. So I kind of keep them all in that tub in some sort of coordination. Okay, so these are your cheap branded soft pastels. I can't tell you the brands. Most of them would be Mungio or similar. These were a really good place to start. Now, am I going to buy these type again? No, but like I said to you earlier, I'm not going to throw them out either because they're still good quality. They're just not as good quality as the other ones I'm going to show you. The pigments should still be really good. It's just the way they're made makes them harder or softer and things like that. So these ones are kind of my no-name brand, or Mungio Soft Pastel. I still have artworks in my house that are made using these square pastels. That one got wet, so it's like almost like it's disintegrated. They're still very nice to use, so nice to use. So don't discredit cheaper soft pastels. The one thing you do want to avoid when getting a packet of set of soft pastels is getting chalk pastels. You do not want chalk pastels. If it says chalk pastels, it means that it has a lot of chalk. So the same chalk that you use on chalkboards, and it's just a filler. So it makes them cheaper. You do kind of get what you buy. As long as it says soft pastels, you should be right. So these are super inexpensive by Mungio and other brands. I think there's a set of Reeves in there, all different ones. Montmartre, as long as they say soft pastels. Now I have a smaller square pastel in here by Masters, and these are actually meant to be a harder pastel. Now I'm not, like I said, I use things up, so it's in my pastel box with the rest of them, and it's just a harder pastel. That's all it is. But I really like soft pastels. The softer they are, I find the easier they are to blend and layer and all that. Not when I say layer, I mean to an extent. Where if you're going over the top of a soft pastel with a hard pastel, chances are it's probably not going to layer very well, unless you haven't got much of it down. Let's get into the better quality ones. Now, some of these I have as sets. Some of these I have purchased singularly. Like this one. This is I've never actually even opened this. I don't know when I got it. I don't know how I got it. I don't know how much it was, but it's a Holbein blue-grey. Now, it does say warning cancer pigments on it. So this is probably the time when you get the respirator out. I tend to find if you're very careful about not blowing the pigments, you're usually pretty okay. It's mainly cancerous if you breathe it in, breathe the dust in. So just try not to breathe the dust in. So this is a Holbein soft pastel. Oh, it feels soft. I'm just going to brush that over there. Well, it's nice. It's not quite as soft as I'd want. It's not bad. I'm going to pop it in with the rest of my soft pastels. It's not a bad soft pastel. Again, probably a very good starter soft pastel, the Holbein. I find Holbein is, even though it's good quality, it's more affordable than other brands. I'm not 100% certain exactly which are the cheapest, which are the more expensive ones. In Australia, these Art Spectrum pastels are really good. These are not the super soft, these are just soft pastels. So they come in these packs of colours. You can see I've got a few of them now. I thought I'd just test a couple of different ones for you. And they kind of go like indigo, and then they've got like a light, a dark, like 5 different from light to super dark. So these are Art Spectrum. These are just their normal pastels. These ones, these are actually really nice. To be honest with you, I can't really tell a difference between these ones and their super soft. That just might be me, because these are nice. These are really nice to use. So it's not like these are hard. These are still very soft. As you see, I haven't used them much. I've been trying to use up my older ones. Let's see if I can do a nice little palette here with some of these. What about a yellow? Let's chuck a yellow in. So, and with the Art Spectrum, one thing, So that's quite nice. They're Spectrum Yellow, which I think that's just yellow. This is what they call Spectrum Yellow. Is really quite hard. It's a harder pigment than the other ones. I think it could just be the pigment that's in it that makes it really hard. So that one there is nowhere near as buttery and smooth as the other ones. So that's why I was saying about when you test them about using the same pigments, because it's hard to compare because some pigments act differently. So these are really nice. They're not cheap, but they are really good for if you're starting out and things like that. You can get sets where they've got like all of like a range of colors in there too. So it's not just these types of sets here, but these ones are great because I've got a few of them and I can do just about everything. You probably don't need the pinks unless you want pinks, because that's got red and yellow and orange in there. Then I've got some blues and purples and some greens. You probably don't need much more than that. I do. I have pinks, and I'll show you with the other ones. So they are really good. They're a really good pastel, that one. They're nice and soft and things like that. Now, let's have a look at the super softs. And like I said to you, I actually don't notice a great deal of difference in these. These are the Umber Earths and the Ochre and Sienna. I don't use brown, so I'm not entirely sure why I got 2 brown sets. And this one they're very greyish. This burnt umber, this umber one is very greyish. But this one's got some yellow ochre, which I quite like yellow ochre. You can see it comes with a little card, and I did the swatches. They're quite light. There's only probably one darkish one. So this is like I said, the yellow, and it's not great. It's not a great one. So I don't even think I bought this one separate, like on its own, because you can get them open stock. And I'm not really a massive fan of that one, but the other ones are, like I've got a turquoise one set and I've got a purple set, and they are really quite nice. But I just thought I'd try these ones out for us. See, they're so nice, especially with the white. The lighter colours are so nice. Let's go yellow ochre E. Yeah, see, they're so nice and soft. They probably are a little bit softer than the round sticks, but you've got to weigh up whether that's what you want or not. If you're happy, I can't tell a massive difference. So if you're starting out, I'd go with the slightly cheaper ones, is my recommendation. So this one is Burnt Sienna. This one is, I'm hoping you can't hear the lawnmower in the background. This one is Burnt Umber Greyish, but it's the D. So the D represents how light or dark it is, or saturated or less saturated it is. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. If you do like a super nice soft pastel and you like the shapes of these, because they are a thicker, chunkier, I like a good chunky one, maybe the super soft, extra soft is for you. Maybe not, I don't know, you've got to decide. I would recommend getting some open stock first. So they're really nice. These are very nice, but they are a lot more expensive than the round sticks. I'd suggest starting with the round ones, trying some of these open stock, and then going from there. That's what I think. So that's Art Spectrum. Art Spectrum's great because it's Australian owned, Australian made, all that good stuff. Let's just write that here. Now this next one, I have never actually used these. This is a set I got on Amazon. I had the poos one day and I decided to get these. It's Jack Richardson. It's a landscape set. It's got a set of 40 hand-rolled pastels. So look at them. They look so nice. I get a feeling I may have tried a couple, but I just don't remember. So some of these again have those warnings, like warning cancer and reproductive harm. Oh, that's interesting. But not all of them, only certain pigments have that on it, so that's good. For today I'm going to try some that doesn't have the cancer causing stuff according to the label. Let's try this one. So these are a little bit smaller. This was not a cheap set. This was, I think, around the $200 Australian dollar price point. So this was not a cheap set by any means. So this is not a set you get as a beginner, I wouldn't. Unless you had money from Christmas or whatever. And this is the landscape set. I really like this pink. I want to try. Good, it's not a cancer causing one. So I'm just gonna swatch a couple of them. Oh, they feel nice. I would say they're probably not quite as buttery as the Artist Spectrum Extra Soft. Oh, I think they're on par. They're nice. I actually do really like these. Some of these are harder. That one's a harder pigment, obviously, than that one. Where's some other ones that don't have? What about this yellow? Some yellows, so I'm gonna guess this one has a cad yellow in it, which is the more harmful one. That one hasn't got anything on it. Oh, they've got a nice range of blues, but for a landscape, doesn't really have a heap of greens. I thought it'd have more greens. They've got a couple of muted ones. Let's go a lighter blue. Oh, here we go. Let's try this green. Oh, so these are lovely. I need to be using these more. They are quite small though. I like a larger pastel because I don't want to wait. I don't want it to disappear really quickly. But even that color palette there is actually really nice. So let's write that. So what's that? Jack. So they are so nice. Let's have a look. I've got another set over here, but I'm going to leave them to last because they're the most expensive ones I've got. I'm going to go through some of these. Now, in my last video, you may have seen me unbox these and swatch these out. So I'm not going to rattle on about these ones too much. So I got some open stock ones instead of getting sets all the time. So we'll start with the cheaper of the options of the open stock ones. These ones are Mungio Gallery handmade soft pastels. These were about $5 each, which is actually the cheapest open stock pastel you can get. Sorry, cheapest handmade pastel, and they're quite large. Like, you have a look, that's the Blue Earth one. It's at least double the size of the Blue Earth, which is kind of nice. So this, just got 3 colors. I got this purple, lavender, violet. I got this light blue and a white 2, it says on it. I didn't know the Mungio existed until I got to the shop and she told me about them, so I thought I'd try them. Now, they are not quite as buttery as the Jack Richardson or the Extra Soft Art Spectrum, but they're still very good. They're still quite a nice pastel. I think I'll still enjoy using them, especially being that they're cheaper handmade. So they've still got the good high quality with the lower price point. Now, this next one, if you've watched my last video, you already know this about me. I just got one of these. This is a J. Luda, I'm not sure how to say it. It's a 27L. It's this really pretty, like, magenta-y color. I only got one of these. It's quite a thick, chunky one. I liked the shape of it. I wanted to try it. On this prepared surface, it's okay. Literally only okay. On a unprepared surface, this does not want to go down at all, and you get little shiny spots where it's almost like, to me it looks like it's unmixed binder. I don't know if that's it or not. I've only ever experienced that with really cheap pastels, so it really annoys me that this one has had to happen to. I don't know if it's just this pigment, so I will probably get another couple of open stock ones of these just to see if it's this pigment or is it just this brand. So I'm really glad I got open stock rather than a whole set. So it's a lot harder than the other ones. For some people that might be okay, but yeah, on regular cartridge paper it just doesn't want to work. It doesn't want to put down much pigment at all, so I find that really frustrating with this one. So that's a J. Luda. I'm not sure how to say it, sorry, my bad. So let's just label this one up, 27L. We might as well label the color. Yeah, so I'll probably get a couple more open stock, and if they're still the same, I'm just gonna not get it anymore. This next one is the Diane Townsend. Now, they're quite pricey too in the sets, so I thought I'd get a couple of open stock just to see if I actually like it. So I got this one. Doesn't have a name of the color on it. I'm fairly certain it was lemon yellow though, so it's really quite a cool yellow. And then I got this I think it's Viridian. Now Viridian is a cancer causing pigment again, but I'm just going to swatch it just so you can see it. These are quite nice. These are, I'd say they're on par with the Mungyo Handmade. They've got the same feel of consistency, so they're not the most buttery, but they're still very nice to use. They're not exactly cheap. I think the Mungyo Handmade are still going to be cheaper than them though. So, I think they're fatter, but they're not as long. So, I think they're about the same size. Now, the last two here that I got open stock are these Blue Earth pastels. If you've watched my video, you would know that I loved these. These are absolutely so nice. The colors are nice. It lays down so much pigment. They're buttery, they're smooth. Oof, they are, I'm going to be getting more of them. I was looking at some of their sets, but I think I'm just going to do open stock. So this last type I've got here are Unison soft pastels. I desperately wanted to try these because they're meant to be absolutely amazing. So I just got this kind of starter set with yellows, reds, all that in it, and they're just the half sticks. So they do come, the full sticks are quite big and they're quite chunky, so they're nice, but I haven't really used these either. Oh, see, they're nice, but I wouldn't say they're even as buttery as the Blue Earth. I like the Blue Earth better than these Unison. So these again are really expensive. These are your top end of your market pastels, these Unison. Oh, they're very nice though. They're very nice. You know, I'm going to talk about favorites and stuff, but ultimately, if you got any of these, they would be perfect. They would be fine. They would be amazing. None of these are bad, except for the ones that I can't tell you the brand of. They are quite cheap, but they still do the job. So yes, these are expensive. Do you need to spend this much on pastels to start with? Definitely not. You can start with whatever type you want. I like this. This color looks really interesting to me. They're very earthy tones actually. Or are they just the ones I'm picking? Did I try that one? Yeah, so really nice colors, kind of earthier toned. I wonder if this is also a landscape set. Very nice again. But are they nicer than the Blue Earth? I don't think so. I think they're about the same. I think they're both pretty good. So this is Unison. There is one type of soft pastels that I want to try. You can't really get them in a shop here in Australia. They're made in Europe. I'm not sure exactly where in Europe. They're the Mammut soft pastels. Oh, they look amazing, but they're expensive. But I've heard they are absolutely beautiful. So I do want to try them eventually. But yeah, so that's all of the soft pastels I own. There's a lot there. There is so much there. I own so many different brands of pencils, pan pastel, the sticks. I tend to use the sticks more than the pencils. Now, I wanted to have a chat to you before I wrap up this video with doing a couple of little drawings. I wanted to have a chat to you about some other tools that you can use. Lots of people blend soft pastels. I do too, but I don't blend them in the most conventional ways. Lots of people have these paper stumps because they don't like it on their hands. And you know, these are great for blending out, you know, and you can get some fades and things like that. As you can see, I don't use this for this. This is not what I use. These came in a set, I think, with other things. I don't actually use paper stumps at all. So yeah, they are very good for blending, and you can see there, I'm actually getting two colors that didn't even touch, quite a smooth blend between the two of them. Paper stumps are really good for that. My style of art, I don't do very much blending at all. So I actually blend using the soft pastels. So I might be like, oh yeah, that's lovely. Oh, look at this. Oh yes. Oh, look at this. And then I'll go, oh, I want to make that a bit lighter. So I might come in with the white just to, and I'll blend with my actual soft pastels. And then I'll come back with that one. You can use your fingers. I sometimes use my fingers. I don't always, but I sometimes use my fingers to blend. Especially if I find, because I'm heavy-handed, if I've put a lot of pastel down, using my finger allows me to be able to put more on in the tooth of the paper, because once you've filled that tooth, it's very hard to lay on top of soft pastel. So that's why having paper with a good amount of tooth is always helpful. I'm going to actually just flip the page. I'm just going to do a drawing in here today. I'll try to use as many brands and as many types of pastel as I can. We might even, let's start with a bit of the old pan pastel to start with. Some people work in just pan pastel, but it's up to you. Yeah, that's not for me. So I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna put some music, speed it up, maybe speed it up, put some music on.
You breeze in the morning, every step is so golden. Oh yeah, breathing slowly. I never thought you would open up for me. I promise I will give you the love that you want. Can you tell me the truth? 'Cause I'm longing for you, girl. I need to know what's on your mind. There's no reason to choose, 'cause I'm falling for you, girl. Only gets better when you're pouring down on me. Oh, ooh, whoa. I always dream about you. Don't worry about the where to, now or never. We can start again. Just wanted you to be mine. Why don't you turn around and tell me now? Oh yeah, I promise I can give you the love that you want. Can you tell me the truth? 'Cause I'm longing for you, girl. I need to know what's on your mind. There's no reason to choose, 'cause I'm falling for you, girl. Only gets better when you're pouring down on me. I just want you to know when I look in your eyes.
So I'm gonna leave that there. I actually really like how that bird turned out. I tried to use some pastel pencils in there for you. I don't think it needed it, to be honest. I think it kind of probably could have been right on its own. Maybe I might add some detail to the stick down here instead. Oh, there you go. Just added some detail. I think that's really pretty. I think that doesn't really need anything else. But you can see that I work by layering. I didn't actually smudge any of that. That's not necessarily the way to do it. People smudge, people smooth out. People use soft pastels just as a base layer, so put really thin layer. This is what works for me, and it's about you working out what works well for you. Don't just do what I do because you think that's the right way. This is the right way for me. You've got to work out the right way for you. So, thank you so much for joining me as we look at all the soft pastels in the whole entire world. No, there's more out there. Join me next week where we're going to have a look at papers. So pastel papers. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's another little video if you would like to keep watching me. Ooh. Thanks for joining me. Bye.